Hey, so it's my second COVID update for the week because King County did put out a notification yesterday that they will not be guaranteeing closing on the same day. This notification might have arrived in your inbox through one of your title and escrow reps. And really, I wanted to just talk a little bit about what that means and also 4 things that you can be doing to ensure that you assist in making sure things are closed on time. So what does it mean that they're not going to be able to guarantee recording on time? So the memo itself states that they are extremely backlogged. They almost have a month worth of backlog documents, and they were requiring overtime of the King County recording employee. They are no longer requiring that their employees work overtime. They can opt to work overtime, but there is now no guarantee that all of the documents that come in a given day will get a recording number. So most of the major escrow companies have something called gap insurance. And when I say the major ones, I have confirmed with companies like Fidelity, Chicago, Old Republic, First American. So the major players, WFG, that they all have what's called gap insurance. Gap insurance will cover the title policy during the period of time that it was supposed to close and didn't obtain until you get recording numbers. Also, most sellers are allowing for the closing to take place, funds to be received, and keys to be released, even if there aren't recording numbers. I did hear from one escrow rep that some of the major builders are pushing back on that a little bit, and they will not release keys until they get the recording number. But as we progressed in all of the changes with COVID, some of them have been a little bit looser with that than others. But we're talking about the major builders, not the one-off and smaller builders. So, these are things you need to be aware of, and you need to have conversations with both your seller and your buyer about a potential holdup in recording numbers and what that could potentially mean. It also means that you should be asking your escrow company if they have gap insurance and what that means to the contract in King County should they not be able to get recording numbers on time. 4 things that you can do to prevent closing delays. Number 1, try to avoid closing on a Friday. The other recommendation that goes along with that is that the end of the month tends to be a really heavy time of month for closings. So if you can avoid it being the last few days of the month and a Friday, that is helpful. Number 2, turn in all your paperwork to the escrow company, even addendums as they come up. They would rather get it twice, once from the listing agent and once from the selling agent, than not get it at all. So in my conversations with the escrow companies today, I'm hearing that sometimes addendums are done that are affecting the closing date, and they're not being made aware of that. And then suddenly agents are saying, why are we not going to close on time? Well, hey, I didn't know that you pushed up closing by a week. So make sure that you're turning in all that paperwork to the escrow company. Again, they'd rather get it twice than not get it at all. Number 3, make sure that on your contract, your client's email address and phone number is accurate and on the documents. And if you didn't put that on the purchase and sale agreement, make sure that you put that contact information in your email to escrow. What they're finding is that they might have a phone number, but that they're not responsive. So either the buyer or seller is not returning their phone call. And surprisingly enough, they also gave me the stance that a lot of times the agents are not calling them back, and they're going weeks into a contract without being able to collect information from the buyer or seller that's pertinent to getting them to close on time. So make sure that you're providing that information to them. And number 4, communicate with your lender and make sure that all the documents have been received from the buyer in that process. And then one thing that has come up in this last week or 2 that you might want to ask the lender is, hey, are you doing desk appraisals or live appraisals? So we have seen a couple of desk appraisals come back low, and then the buyer has had to fight that appraisal amount because seller didn't want to negotiate. And so they had to have an appraiser go out live afterwards, and that adjusted the value to match the price. So, you just want to know what you're working with. So make sure that you're communicating with the lender. And then I'll give you one more bonus that was given to me from an escrow officer today, and that is that HOAs are really delayed right now. So getting their closing information from the HOAs seems to be a little bit harder than before and can take several weeks to get those payoff amounts. So just keep in mind that with COVID and people working from home and there being continual changes, that these things mean we have to be even better at communication than ever before. So hopefully these tips helped you, and just over communicate, and prepare your buyers and sellers. All right, more updates as they are. Have a great day.